back with more Buffy. This is episode 16 of season 2. We're getting actually surprisingly close to the end. There's like 6 episodes left after this, which is kind of crazy. I suppose that's what happens when I do like 2 episodes of Buffy in a row now. You know, it goes quite quick. But yeah, last episode was nuts. Oz is a werewolf. That's a thing. Him and Willow are goals, and I love them with my very soul. You know, Angel's still out there. Angelus, I suppose he is now, being mean and very rude. Yeah, a lot of crazy stuff's kind of going down, and I'm really excited to see where the story is going to go next, because anything could happen at this point. If Oz can be a werewolf, then God knows what they have in store for me. So yeah, I'm very excited to check out this next one, so let's get into it.
Slaying is a tad more perilous than dating.
Well, you're obviously not dating Cordelia.
Well, a girl wants to look good for her geek.
She's not cool anymore, she's dating Xander.
When are you two going to start wearing cute little matching outfits? Because I'm planning to vomit. Let's go.
You're a bitch.
Go ahead, you know you want to say it.
My boyfriend's in the band.
Cool. I think you've now told everybody.
Only in this hemisphere. Thank you, Amy. I just hate to think of you solo on Valentine's Day.
I'll be fine. Mom and I
Have we seen her before? Is that
it's a time-honored tradition among the
the
lovers.
witch daughter
Did you guys see that?
girl?
See what?
In class, I think Amy just worked some magic on Miss Beekman.
You mean like witchcraft?
You know her mom's a witch.
An amateur
Yeah.
psycho.
Yes,
Amy's the
okay,
last
good.
person that you
Thought I
can
recognised
ask
her.
about stuff.
Maybe.
Oh, that's awkward as fuck.
Nothing but the best for my girl.
Happy Valentine's Day, Drew.
Ew.
And more about that Slayer
You know he's evil when he's got eyeliner on.
Buffy.
Oh no.
I want to break up.
Oh shit. Oh no.
Do you know what's a good day to break up with somebody? Any day besides Valentine's Day.
Yeah, I was gonna
I mean,
say.
were you running low on dramatic irony?
Oh, I feel bad. For both of them, actually. Which is odd.
Dude.
Fuck you guys. Why'd you do that? Ugh.
Gee, Xander.
People are the
maybe you should
worst.
learn a second language so that even more girls can reject you.
I mean, he pulled an Incan mummy princess person, so she can go fuck herself.
We're gonna cast a little spell.
Oh no, that's not the way to go about things. Oh fuck.
A love spell?
We're screwed.
Yeah. I want her to want me, desperately, so I can break up with her and subject her to the same hell she's been putting me through.
Oh, I don't know, Xander.
Oh. Xander, you almost had me on your side.
Right.
It's sweet that she kept it. She's actually wearing it. Oh, my heart.
It's a good thing we broke up. Now I don't have to pretend I like it.
Oh. Oh my god, I'm feeling feelings. For Cordelia.
Diana,
Right.
goddess of love. Pull out the candle now.
Oh.
Yeah, I should say
So it worked on someone else or something, like Willow or Buffy or something, I don't know.
What is his deal?
Why don't you and I do something together tonight? Just the two of us.
We can make
Really?
it if we try.
Yeah. We can comfort each other.
Well, would lap dancing enter into that scenario at all? Because I find that very comforting.
Xander, stop talking.
Play your cards straight.
Okay, you do know that I'm Xander, right?
I don't know, I just
It's worked on her, hasn't it?
Cordy broke up.
I am still pretty new at this.
Oh, no, it's okay. You know what? It was wrong to meddle with the forces of darkness. I see that now.
Xander.
I think we've all grown.
Well, I liked spending time with you.
Oh, God.
You're so sweet. You know, it's funny how you can see a person every day and
Not really see them.
exactly.
Oh, now he's
So
kind of
anyway,
hurt because he
I thought it
thought
was
she was being genuine.
What?
It's happened to everyone.
Class, right?
Yeah.
This is where Rick and Morty got it from, isn't
I
it?
really got it.
It's when Giles starts being like, Xander,
Sorry. I wanted to surprise you.
Oh my God, no, no,
High marks.
no.
Don't be so jumpy.
Oh God, stop it, don't you dare.
That's
No,
right.
no.
It's not that I don't find you sexy.
Is it Oz?
Oh God.
Are you tripping? I thought you wanted me to break up
Did
with
it
him.
work on everyone but her?
Pop would let Xander get away.
Oh my God. What?
Have you been working out?
Oh my.
I cannot believe that you are fool enough to do something like this.
Oh, no, I'm twice the fool it takes to do something like that.
At least he's honest.
I'll find Amy and see if we can put a stop to this thing.
I was going to say, take it with you.
No.
It's nice that they kind of have not exactly light-hearted plot, but kind of a light-hearted plot for this episode. Oh no.
I mean, if I thought you had one clue what it would mean to me. But you don't.
Aw,
So I can't.
So you're
good.
saying this is all a game?
Oh, I don't think so.
Xander, tell her.
What?
I know what your face wants.
Oh! Fuck me.
What is this? You're two-timing me?
Not as Hecate work thy will.
Uh-oh.
Before thee let the unseen thing come.
Ah! What did you do? Oh God, what have you done? Oh no! Turn into a
Why is
rat.
she here? Ask.
Oh my God.
You two, sit.
This is madness! What even is this episode? Oh fuck. Oh no. Oh, what a mess.
Kinda. What was that for? I was on the phone all night listening to Willow cry about you. Now, I don't know exactly what happened, but I was left with a very strong urge to hit you. I didn't touch her, I swear.
Oh.
Go. Get out of my sight.
Oh God. Oh, I feel bad for him, but I also don't. Oh my God. This is a very, very complex episode, and I like that a lot.
Buffy.
Leave it the fuck alone. This is mad.
If you cared at all about him, you'd help me save him rather than wittering on about your feelings. Now let's get on with some work. Now, Janet.
Snappy Giles is best, Giles.
Lost him.
I should have known I'd find you with her.
Oh God.
Will, come on, you don't want to hurt me.
Oh no? You don't know how hard this is for me. I love you so much. I'd rather see you dead than with that bitch.
Oh my God. Thought she's actually going to have Willow kill someone then. Oh, what a shit show. Meanwhile, Buffy's a rat. What on earth? Oh no. Oh, fuck.
Okay, now I really think we've lost him.
No, Joyce is going to be affected.
I think it's more of a hot night, don't you?
No, this is weird.
You are so tense. What are you doing? Make me yak. Cordelia, go back upstairs. This is between us.
Gross. I think not.
Hey, get your
Oh man.
And keep your mom
Schmitz off my boyfriend. Former. Why has everyone gone insane?
I guess we should be safer up here.
Oh!
Works in theory.
Oh shit! This episode is relentless. I have no idea how they're going to resolve this, what's going to happen, and I'm here for it.
Buffy had.
That's her kitten.
Oh, of course! It's affected Drusilla.
Mommy's here.
Sorry, Drew.
Ah, she's not invited in.
Guess you're not invited.
That's unfortunate.
It's never gonna work for us, Sander. Wait till it ended.
Here, Buffy.
What? Oh. Man. Buffy? Damn, that rolling pin can do some bloody damage, I'll tell you.
Of love.
Damn. There goes the CGI budget for the season. Torch going.
Yes. I remember begging you to undress me, and then a sudden need for cheese. I also remember that you didn't
Need cheese?
undress me. It meant a lot to me what you said.
That's growth.
Come on, Buffy. I couldn't take advantage of you like that.
You're a sheep.
I'm not a sheep. You're a sheep. All you ever do is date whoever the hell I want to date. No matter how lame he is.
Okay. Romantic-ish. Aww.
If it helps, whenever we're around them, you and I can fight a lot.
You promise?
You can pretty much count on it.
I'm finding them adorable. What is happening to me? I'm having an emotion. Oh my god. I don't even know where to begin. I feel like that episode's threw so much at you, but I feel like it handled it so well. Very well written and kind of conceived episode, I thought. Even still relevant today, I think. And, I mean, what it was trying to say was very obvious, but also very subtle, in a way. If that makes sense at all. I don't think it does. Yeah, I've just written quite a few notes for this one. Right, I'll start with like the whole stuff. I like seeing like Angel and Spike and Drusilla. It's nice catching up with them, seeing kind of rivalry at the minute between Angel and Spike was really interesting. Excited to see them kind of explore that further. I don't think they absolutely needed them to be in this episode. They didn't really need that story of like Angel trying to hurt Buffy for some reason. They could have taken that whole kind of thing out. But I'm not mad that it was in here, because kind of allowed us to see that even vampires and Drusilla was affected by the spell. So that makes sense in terms of that. So I really like that kind of thing. And seeing those characters again. Just to, you know, a little reminder that they're still like the big threat that's out there right now. There were just a lot of little moments. I'm just thinking of more stuff as I'm going, so I'm just writing it down. There was some just little moments of pure beauty, I think, in terms of both script work and performances. I think the acting in this was really well done, particularly Xander and Cordelia. I don't know what their ship name is. I wrote down Xandelia just so I remember to talk about kind of their relationship and stuff, but I'll probably save like Xander as a character until the very, very end, because this was clearly a Xander-centric episode. But I think the performances, both the actors portraying Xander and Cordelia, were really, really good, especially the moment where Xander realised that it wasn't just Buffy being attracted to him because it was her, it was like everyone, so that's why Buffy was like coming on to him. And we just kind of saw almost like a little heartbreak in him in that moment. which I know he should kind of be with Cordelia, or should be focusing on Cordelia. It's a weird thing, a weird balance, but I'll get onto that later. Just seeing that kind of disappointment, really good acting from him. And when that moment, one of my absolutely emotionally devastating for me actually, when Cordelia went to take off the necklace, saying it was in her locker, but she was actually wearing it. Oh god, that broke my little heart. I thought that was so well done, so underplayed by the actress, Charisma Carpenter. So good. I loved that. It just shows that she does have a heart. And, you know, the heart necklace kind of represented her heart in this episode, because she kind of kept Xander with her. So I really liked that. And that kind of parallel to the start of the episode where Buffy was like holding the heart necklace and like, does Cordelia even know what one of these is and stuff. I really liked how that all played out, and I loved the focus on Xander and Cordelia in this episode and their relationship. I thought it was really well done, and I'm glad they worked it out at the end. I feel like it's going to be a stronger bond, and Cordelia's probably not going to be worried about being popular and dating Xander at the same time anymore, which is awesome. Character development, boom. Seeing Amy again, I did recognise her from the start, and I thought it was from the Witch episode, but I'd forgotten if that was, you know, definitely what it was, but it was. So I really love that they kind of brought her back into it, and she's taken up witchcraft herself, and that's how the whole kind of spell thing happened. I really liked that kind of bit of continuity. I thought that was really nice. How they kind of referenced past episodes, as they do tend to do. They did a lot more than I thought they would as well, which I really like. So that was cool. I love that, and the whole idea of like the spell, you know, it made a lot of sense. And I like how Cordelia was protected and affected everyone else. That was really cool. Just the whole plot line, how it speaks about like obsession and consent. But also in terms of Xander, it spoke of kind of an isolation. Because so many people were like lusting after him in that moment, it kind of just became a big blur, and it was just him on his own, him versus these people, until Cordelia came along and Giles and all that. How it affected Oz, how we got like Punch Xander, and then he went to find Buffy, who'd been turned into a rat. I really liked his role in this story as well. Bizarre, the whole kind of subplot of Buffy becoming a rat, but I enjoyed it anyway. It's a cool way of getting her out of the action, I suppose. Nice little story twist. And kind of Willow being affected as well, because she was one of the few who actually loved Xander before he did this spell. So it was interesting seeing that kind of affect her. And I don't know if that's going to cause some tension with her and Oz, because obviously that's a big thing with Willow, lingering feelings for Xander, so I'm worried about that. But I'm sure they'll explore it and do a great job of it. But yeah, I loved how they kind of explored obsession and consent, and, you know, people becoming sheep and just bullying people because they want to stay cool. It's sad reality, but reality nonetheless. Just very relevant to real life, very relatable, even though it was like a witchcraft spell, and still so relevant today with the whole kind of consent thing, and obsession creating murderers as well. I know how they dealt with the whole topic of isolation with Xander, because even Giles was like, you know, you've done enough, you need to go away. He was isolated by that. He was isolated when Cordelia broke up with him. It was that feeling that kind of made him do the spell in the first place. I feel like all the characters they used in this episode, they used really, really well. And, you know, they couldn't have done this episode, I think, earlier on, because we needed to get a sense of Xander's relationships with everyone. Before they could kind of explore a shift in those relationships like they did in this episode. So clever of them to kind of wait for a while and establish those relationships before doing a plot like this. And it makes perfect sense to me for Xander to have done this. I don't agree with it at all. I think he was completely wrong. But it made sense for the character Xander was, for them to then tell a story like this with that character. It made a lot of sense. And even in the last episode I was saying, you know, Xander's got loads of love interests now, and he's very insecure about himself, and then we had this episode that really kind of explored that, so that was really cool, as like a viewer experiencing it. So yeah, I loved the whole idea behind the plot, how it was very relevant and relatable in a sense. You know, taken to the extreme, obviously, but I really liked that. And even Joyce being affected, stuff like that. Kind of showing we don't really know how things affect people a lot of the time. So you kind of just need to be careful with people. Whether it be love, you know, breakups, grief. Everyone's affected in different ways. You know, not everyone grabbed an axe and tried to kill Xander. Willow did and Joyce did, but everyone was affected differently, and I really liked that. And Cordelia kind of standing up for herself and him at the end. I'm really liking those two together. I actually think they're really quite sweet. I can't believe it. I really liked Cordelia in this episode. I actually think... I think she's won me over, guys. I think I actually quite like her. She was pretty badass. She has a heart after all. God, she was such a bitch in season 1. God! The eye rolls, man. The number of zoomed in eye rolls I did and zoomed in looks to the camera. And she deserved them. She deserved every single one of them. So, don't at me. But she's grown a lot since season 1. And yeah, I think I like her now. I actually really enjoy Cordelia as a character. She's come a long way. She's likeable. She's always had like funny moments and stuff, but I feel like there's a sweetness to her now that I really, really like and find quite enduring, and quite endearing as well. So yeah, I quite like Cordelia now. Can't believe I'm saying it. It's happened. Good God. But there we are. Now I suppose what it all comes down to with the episode was Xander. Although also quickly, seeing Miss Canada again was cool, how her role was affected. And we got a brief glimpse that still there's a long way to go with her and Giles kind of rekindling any kind of relationship. So I liked that they kind of tapped back into that story as well. But yeah, very Xander-centric episode. It was interesting how even in the last episode he was talking about when he was affected by like a curse in the pack in season 1. How that kind of changed him, and then he still went and did this in this episode. I feel like this highlights, this episode, what a complex character Xander is. And I've definitely gotten the impression that I feel like Xander's quite a Marmite character. A lot of people I know who watch my reactions do not like him. And they think he's just the biggest jerk, and he can be, believe me. But he had... It's again, I find it hard to kind of just say what Xander is or who Xander is, because he's got a lot of layers. He's very complex. He's very insecure. I'd like to know a lot more about kind of his past and his childhood, actually. Because we know he's capable of sustaining like bonds with people. Because he's known Willow for so long, but even then that wasn't the ideal partnership, because Willow loved him and he was like, nah mate. But he still has a hard time kind of forming bonds and relationships now, so it's kind of strange to see Willow be the outlier in that. So I'd like to see how that all came about, really, the origin of Xander and Willow being good friends. It's interesting that he's known Cordelia for ages and he's known Willow for ages, but he's managed to turn that into a romance with Cordelia but not with Willow, so that's interesting. And Xander, what he did was completely out of line. I felt so bad for him when Cordelia dumped him. He felt very isolated and alone, and then he blackmailed a witch and was trying to, just out of spite and, you know, revenge, trying to act on that and get Cordelia's feelings hurt, which was wrong. I know he was hurting, but it's not the right way to deal with it. But we've seen in the past Xander's a very flawed character, or quite inappropriate at times as well. But maybe that's because of me watching it in 2018. But I feel like he's always been, even when this aired, he's probably quite a irky, inappropriate character for some. and I completely get why. I like him though. It's odd. But yeah, some of his actions in this episode were completely wrong. He's kind of fixated on Cordelia for a while, and then he was almost all for Buffy coming onto him. And even though he was kind of hung up on Cordelia, and even did a spell to kind of just get his own back on her. And then it was like, bye Cordelia, Buffy's into me now, doesn't matter. But then it turned out not to be the case, and then this whole hot mess of an episode. So, this episode, I don't think it should have worked, because there's a lot going down, a lot of like subplots, like the whole thing of Buffy being a rat, and the curse, Giles and Jenny, Angel and Spike, Drusilla, Joyce being thrown into the mix as well. There's so much going on, but it was such a well written episode and so well performed that it just worked seamlessly. And even like introduction of like Amy again and stuff. This was a packed episode, but all of its elements were used so well. So yeah, Xander's a tricky one to work out. He did a lot of wrong in this episode. The way he handled himself was not good, but I did feel sorry for him about how he felt alone and how Cordelia kind of broke up with him. The way he responded to that was completely wrong. And the way he kind of kept changing between which girl he was interested in is annoying and troublesome and problematic, I know, but he's always been like that, and that's just a character flaw that I hope he can get over and learn to kind of learn from his mistakes. Hopefully he can learn to grow from this experience, hopefully, especially because him and Cordelia patch things up at the end, and hopefully we'll be okay. We'll see where that goes. But yeah, I appreciated the spotlight on Xander with this plot, because they couldn't have done this kind of story with anyone else, I don't think. And it just felt inevitable that something like this would happen with Xander. So I'm glad that they kind of tackled it and explored how complex and flawed Xander is as a person. I'm sure he'll make many more mistakes in the future. But it was nice getting insight into this and his relationships with everyone else. And how his actions have consequences, you know. Granted, he was possessed by a hyena in the pack, but, you know, he almost kind of, well, basically did sexually assault Buffy. But then he was like, oh yes, fine, I forgot, so they need to suffer the consequences of those actions. This one, he had to deal with consequences of his actions, so hopefully he can really grow as a person from this. He can be inappropriate at times, but that kind of caught up with him in this episode, so we'll see how he grows from this and changes. But I've always liked Xander anyway, I don't dislike him at all. I actually really enjoy him as a character. But yeah, interesting. I really liked his exploration and the focus on him in this episode. How his relationship with Cordelia evolved. And just how everyone else was affected by his actions. Really great stuff. So yeah, overall, great episode. I thought it was brilliant. Very well written, very relatable and relevant even now. The way all the characters worked was like seamless. I loved it. There was some humour in there, some really heartbreaking moments, some great performances. I loved the character study of Xander in particular. Yeah, interesting one. I feel like if you're not a big Xander fan, you probably wouldn't like this episode. Obviously. Probably hate Xander even more after this episode, if anything. But I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very interesting, very well done. Quite something. Yeah, I really enjoyed this episode. I thought it was great. And I can't wait to see where they're going to take the story now. I feel like there's going to be a lot more kind of stuff with Spike and Angel and Drusilla as we get nearer and nearer to the end of the season. But yeah, this was a really cool little episode and a cool story to explore with Xander. And they could have easily not tackled a subject like this, but, you know, they had the balls to do it, so I really, really appreciate that. Yeah, great episode. Really enjoyed it. Cannot wait to see where the rest of Season 2 is going to take us. Thanks for watching.